And that brings us to the main event here for UFC 329. Surprise, surprise. The King is back. The Mac is back. Conor McGregor taking on Max Holloway in this main event. If you're enjoying the content, hit that like and subscribe button. And this is a very interesting matchup that I think a lot of people are not necessarily doing that much of a deep dive at. With this fight being at 170, I think that plays a little bit of a spanner in the works here. And I think it can make this fight a little bit more competitive than people realize. And let's start off with Max Holloway. Obviously, Max Holloway has had success at 145. We've seen him obviously go back and forth with Volkanovski. He wasn't able to get that one done. He moved up to 155. He held the BMF belt temporarily. Obviously did lose to Charles Oliveira when he got out-wrestled and out-grappled. And he had a lot of success out the course of his career being a volume puncher, a guy that has, power in the hands, good timing, good volume, good cardio. He ultimately was able to defend a lot of the takedowns at 145, did struggle at 155. But he is a very, very well-rounded fighter. He will throw in the occasional kick. He has fought the who's who. He can fight a full 5 rounds. And he is a very skilled boxer. My real question in this matchup is, what does Max Holloway look like at 170? If you think about this matchup here, he has never fought at this weight class. And that extra weight might impact his ability to have the better hand speed. Does it affect his cardio? How does it affect his ability to be able to take a punch? Obviously, his ability to be able to stand and trade with McGregor in the pocket is going to be in question, and we're not going to know that until these guys get in there and fight each other. But fighting at 170 with that extra weight, how is that going to affect his cardio long term as the guy that should have the better cardio, as the guy that should be the more of a volume puncher? And will that affect his output over the course of this 5-round fight? I think as well, you go over to the Conor McGregor side, he has fought at welterweight at 170. Obviously against Cowboy Cerrone, he came in at welterweight. He was able to get that one done early in 40 seconds. And his back-to-back fights with Nate Diaz both took place at welterweight. So experience in this weight class and what it feels like to have that extra weight on his body. Obviously, Conor McGregor is coming off of a long, long layoff at 5 years. He's talked about, if you look at interviews, he's talked about, kind of being on the straight and narrow. He's definitely training hard now. Whether he is or he isn't, if you go back and look at the Poirier fights, he didn't come out the best way in those fights, but he didn't look terrible. Obviously, Conor McGregor's had cardio issues out the course of his career. He's a guy that comes out early in rounds 1 and 2 and tries to put you away. I just worry that Max stands and trades with McGregor, and McGregor hits a lot harder at 170 than he anticipates, and he gets caught and put out here. That's the only way that I see McGregor winning this one. But the fact that it's at 170 has me a little bit worried that Max might kind of, not necessarily look his best at 170. If he is the same Max that he is at 155, I think that he takes the shots of McGregor well. I think he's going to be able to out-volume McGregor. I think he's going to be able to have, a lot more moments at the course of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round to be able to win a decision. I think he's going to be, in terms of the shape, I think that his experience, his ring generalship, and his ability, the fact that he's been fighting a lot more frequently, is going to cause Conor McGregor a lot of problems. McGregor had to worry about the calf kick against Dustin Poirier. He doesn't necessarily have to worry about that against Max Holloway. That's not one of his main weapons. I think this is a good matchup for McGregor is what I'm basically trying to say. He's got a guy who's going to stand and trade with him and box with him. He doesn't have to worry about takedowns. He's fighting at his weight class. And ultimately, he doesn't necessarily have to know too much about what Max is like at 170 because he's never seen it. It's all new to Max. I think obviously the ring rust for McGregor is going to show, but he comes in prepared. He looked good against Dustin Poirier until he didn't. If you look at that fight, even though he had a boxing stance, obviously coming off of the Floyd Mayweather performance, he'd been working heavily on his boxing. He's not throwing that kind of karate style, the wide legs, the spinning wheel kicks, spinning hook kicks. And I think he forgot all about the calf kicks and checking those calf kicks, which was ultimately his demise in that matchup. He doesn't have to worry too much about that here with Holloway. He's not a guy that throws a ton of kicks. Holloway will throw it, but it's not his main weapon. He wants to stand and box with him. So boxing with Conor McGregor, I think, plays into his hands. So I am going to be picking Max Holloway. I think this fight at 170 is very interesting. If this was 145 or 155, I'd be picking Max in a heartbeat. I think he would ultimately get this one done by stoppage. I just worry that at 170, what is Max going to look like with his cardio and his output? That's really how I see this one. We know what we're getting from McGregor. We know if he comes in motivated that he's got the skills and he's got the power to put away a lot of guys. He was able to tag Poirier early in their fights. 5-year layoff, coming off injury. We don't know how serious it is. We know he's had a lot of issues outside of the cage, drug abuse as well. Also, as well, let's not pretend like this guy wasn't on steroids. So, that's another thing as well. They talk all about the USDA and the drug testing. Conor McGregor's clearly been on some cycles. Let's just put it that way. But He's going to be bigger here at 170. I wonder how he implements his will here against Max Holloway, but I am going to be picking Max Holloway to get this one done. I'm going to say third or fourth TKO, third or fourth round TKO stoppage here for Max Holloway. I think that he needs to be mindful of McGregor early. I think he's going to ultimately have to chew up that lead leg and throw a lot more kicks. Ultimately, I think this is going to be a back and forth exchange. I think he's going to look good on the feet for both guys. I think McGregor's going to look good early. I think Max is going to take over late. And ultimately, I'm going to be leaning to Max Holloway to get this one done and play spoiler here as the king is back after 5 years. Either way, I think this is going to be an exciting fight here at 170. Hopefully, Conor McGregor comes back and we see him a little bit more regularly here in the UFC. But give me Max Holloway to get this one done in this stacked main event card here at UFC 329. Let's see who Carlos has got in this matchup.
Okay, this one I'm going to have to go with Holloway to get it done because, you know, at 170, under the lights, haven't fought in some years, and he's 37 years old. You know, he's won one fight in the last 9 years. Conor's going to be rusty. You know, that time away doesn't make you any better, but he's always been pretty good striking. He's always been a natural with that. And I think he's going to land. You know, I think he's going to land. He's going to land heavy. And, I also feel that Holloway's going to land. And McGregor's going to have to deal with that. And McGregor, even if he's the one being active and he's the one landing, if he can't get you out of there in the first round, it's going to be a little bit of a problem for him cardio-wise when it comes to the second round. And I just feel that Holloway's going to be busy. I don't know how the weight's going to make him feel. I don't know if he's going to be a little bit heavier. The output might be a little bit less. How is he going to be moving? Is he going to move the same? Is he going to move a little bit less? You know, I'm not too sure. But what I do know is that he's going to come prepared, cardio-wise. He's going to be ready to go. And I just feel that McGregor, it's going to be the fact that if he can't get you out of there in the first round, right at the beginning of the second round, it's over for him. And this is going to be a 5-round fight. So, if it goes the distance, Holloway. If it's over in the first round, I'd say it'd be McGregor. But I'm going to say Holloway's going to get it done. McGregor's cardio has always been an issue, being at 145. So now at 170, carrying more weight, more mass, it's going to be a problem. He has had a lot of time to kind of, get more rested and healed up because he's taken all those years, like pretty much trying to recover from that leg injury. But I do feel that that's not going to make a difference. I do feel that he's going to be tired when round 2 comes around or midway through round 2. And that's where Holloway will take over. And I feel Holloway's going to have success in the first round as well. I'm going to go with Max Holloway to get it done.